primary to secondary school in Busia County, the class is calling on parents to be proactive and keep a close eye on their children now that they are at home for a long holiday.
Watumie muda huu kuwa karibu sana na watoto, wahimize wajue watoto wanafanya nini, wanaenda wapi, ni nani ambao ni marafiki zao. Pia wakiwa nyumbani wawafundishe maadili.
Busia Bishop's Vice Chairperson James Wanyama appealed to parents to instill social values in their children to mold them into respectful and responsible members of the society.
Wazazi pia wawe vigilant kuhusu madawa ya kulevya, kwa sababu hapa kwa mpaka kuna madawa ya kulevya ambayo yanapita vichochoroni na watoto wanapata, wanatumia, wengine wanavuta bangi, wengine wanavuta gamu. So watoto wanataka waweze kuangaliwa. Wazazi wakati huu wasiseme kwamba wako busy sana, wanatafuta chakula, wako na kazi na shughuli na hawajui watoto vile wanavyoendelea.
His sentiments were echoed by Reverend Patrick Muma of Christ Tabernacle Ministries, who doubles up as the Secretary General of Busia Pastors Fellowship. The Gladi said parents should partner with teachers to complement their efforts towards raising a holistic future generation.
Na sisi tuko tayari, kwa mfano tunaandaa mikutano za vijana ambao tunaweza kuwaelimisha na pia wanakutana na wenzao. Sasa ile muda ya kukaa na pasipo na jambo la kufanya itakuwa tunawasaidia.
Boda operators' leadership wrangles continue to escalate in Kitengela, Kajiado County, as two warring parties now rope in the national leadership of the organization. This comes days after Boda Safety Association National Chairman Kevin Mubadi declared that Boda operators, Kitengela riders, have been banned from holding any elections. Previous elections have been marred by chaos, including last year, where police had to lob tear gas to disperse the operators. This year, the elections are slated for Monday, December 5th, 2022. So far, 13 candidates have expressed interest to vie for the chairman position.
Baada ya kuchaguliwa, mimi nisimama kama chairman, na kulingana na katiba yetu muda wa chairman ulikuwa uishe 2023 mwezi wa pili, mwezi tarehe 28, lakini kwa sababu muda unaendelea kuisha, ndio sababu sisi tumetoa wazo ya watu waingie kwa kinyang'anyiro wawanie hiki kiti cha kuwa chairman wa bodaboda hapa Kitengela.
Ningependa tu niulize swali moja, sababu sasa tagu association zile zilianza ni mwaka wa 2016 hadi wa leo hakujawahi kuwa na uchaguzi. Imetengenezewa kwa sheria gani? Sababu Society Act, katiba yote ya Society Act inasema baada ya miaka fulani, baada ya miaka 5, baada ya miaka 3 kuwe na election. Hatujasikia hizo election. Lakini wale watu wa Kitengela hapa wanataka uchaguzi na wanataka leaders wao. Kwa hivyo wapewe na nafasi,
na hao viongozi lazima wafanye kazi yao, wamalize. Tukimaliza ile muda ambayo umewekwa, uchaguzi utaitwa. Na barua itatoka juu kwa ofisi yangu kuhakikisha kwamba tunataka uchaguzi katika hii Kitengela yetu.
Ndio nimeauthorize ya kwamba kutakuwa na uchaguzi tarehe 5. Na barua zote ziko kwa relevant authorities. Tutakuwa, it will be a peaceful one. Riders wetu wapatiwe nafasi yao ya kuexercise their democratic right. Wale ambao sio wa Kajiado County, tafadhali wachaneni na mambo ya Kajiado County. Watu wa Kajiado County wasukumane nayo.
Kenya Kwanza leaders in Embu County have faulted calls for a mass action by Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance leader Raila Odinga, saying it will destabilize the ailing Kenyan economy. Speaking in Embu town, the leaders observed that President William Ruto had shown the will to work with all people, irrespective of political affiliation. They called on the Ministry of Interior to deal decisively with individuals who disrupt peace.
The Shinjo 15 is scheduled for lift-off today at 11.
We condemn such cause, such actions with strongest terms possible. We are facing an economy which we have to build. We can only build this economy if we are fully engaged from day one.
Everybody has got a part to play in the development of this country, and so we are requesting all leaders and all citizens of this country to join hands with elected leaders so that we can make our country move to the next level.
As a World Heritage Site in danger. The panel says the world's biggest coral reef system is being...
And on matters regarding education, 2 candidates in Kakamega County have missed out on this year's Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examinations after they failed to trace their names on the examinations register. The duo from separate schools has expressed disappointment, saying they had prepared for the exams. Meanwhile, a Form 4 candidate in Homa Bay County has died after she allegedly underwent a maternity surgery.
Homa Bay County Teaching and Referral Hospital is on the spot after a Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education KCSE candidate allegedly died after undergoing an operation at the facility. The family of the late Velma Anita Ochieng alleges that she was admitted to the hospital on Saturday in good health to welcome a newborn.
Huyu mtoto wetu wanalia tu, anatembea tu na magoti yake kwa simiti, kwa varanda, mtoto analia, alafu wakaingia kwa singizi. Tunaenda tunaamusha, hawezi kuamuka. Wanasema sisi tunamsumbua.
Homa Bay County Teaching and Referral Hospital Chief Executive Officer Peter Ogola has however refuted the claims, saying the deceased underwent a successful surgery before she passed on.
The patient was taken to theater at 2:30 a.m. Okay? The patient was, the baby was removed successfully, a live baby. The mother was, the operation, according to the notes that I'm seeing, the doctor, the operation was successful and the mother and the baby were taken back to them.
Meanwhile, 2 pupils from separate schools in Butere, Kakamega County have failed to sit for this year's Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examinations after their names went missing on the register.
Class nursery paka class 8. Mtoto alijiregister mtihani wa class 8. Nikimtoa hapo juu hakuwa anaelewa chenye anafanya, nikaamua at least mtoto wangu niende nimpost marks yake, nikapeleka mtoto mentor academy. Sasa mtoto amesomea mentor academy kuanzia term 2.
The pupils from Lunza Primary School and Shirembe Primary School have expressed disappointment, saying they had prepared for this year's national examinations.
Nilikuwa nimeprepare, niko ready kufanya hiyo mtihani, lakini sasa niko shocked, hata sijui nitafanya nini.
Still in Kakamega, a 14-year-old candidate from Bumamu Primary School is sitting for her KCP examinations from a hospital bed after she gave birth to a baby boy.
Mtihani imeanza vizuri, security arrangements na kila kitu iko sawa. We have had few challenges kidogo, mwanafunzi kujifungua na anafanyia katika hospitali. So far so good, hakuna changamoto kubwa sana ambayo tumepata.
Irene Mchuma Udim, the Lunchtime News.
Other ones in the city's suburban areas and the nearby cities of Nanjing and Hangzhou also have...
Still on the same, meanwhile, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says the government will end delocalization of teachers as part of ongoing education reforms in the country. Speaking when he led the disbursement of examination material for the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education and Kenya Primary School Examination Assessment for Grade 6 on Tuesday at Komarok Primary School, Nairobi, Gachagua said the Kenya Kwanza administration will fulfill its promise of allowing teachers to work anywhere they are comfortable.
Nobody can compensate you adequately for what you do. It's a sacrifice. And that is why we are calling for respect for our teachers, because what they do is a calling. It's such a huge sacrifice. And that is why in our plan in the Kenya Manifesto, we agreed that the process of delocalization should be done away with, so that teachers are able to work anywhere without being coerced to work in certain areas. That is why the President has set up the Working Party on Educational Reforms to look at issues CBC, to look at TVET, to look at university education. I want to encourage you. that where what you are going through today is what we went through many years back. I remember in 1977, long before you were born, I also underwent an exam called it was called CPE then, and we were just in an ordinary school. You are even lucky you have shoes and socks, as we were barefooted. We did not even have a meal in the morning, but we were focused.
And away from matters education, a team of geologists say Isiolo County may be endowed with deposits of precious minerals such as limestone and gypsum. The team, which visited areas such as Yakbarsadi, Kulamawe, Baramate, Kubi, Dimtu and Kom, said that the minerals, which also include gold, are commercially viable. And let's take a look.
County Governor Abdi Hassan Guyo says the presence of the precious minerals presents an opportunity for residents of Isiolo. Guyo said locals can now look beyond livestock keeping and exploit minerals.
One of the surest way of making sure that the county is developed is by bringing investors to bring in manufacturing companies. And with all these natural resources in Isiolo, if now you want to set up a factory cement in Isiolo, you have all the natural resources which you need to do what? Cement what? Factory. In the course of the next 2 months, I'll bring the county investment bill to the county assembly so that they can fast track the legal framework for us to engage investment.
Engineer Mustafa Lengesen said the mineral deposits are economically viable. Lengesen noted that the precious minerals can be exploited for large-scale manufacturing, with lab tests indicating that the gypsum deposit in the Malkadaka area are 98% pure.
This is the material that is used to manufacture. It is used in the manufacture of cement. It is the one that is used to control the setting time of cement. But this material, it has very important to the economy of this country, because this material, things like plaster of Paris, gypsum board, it is 100% imported into the country, yet we have this material and it can actually manufacture those two products very well.
Isiolo County Assembly Speaker Mohamed Roba said the exploration of the minerals will be of a great benefit to locals.
And as a county assembly, of course, there could be some legislation which will be needed to make this possible. We are going to look at the legislation at the national level and try to modify it to the county level so that we are able to work within legal framework.
Chinese internet users have reached 940 million.
The High Court in Nairobi has allowed the National Assembly to proceed with the vetting of 51 Principal Secretary nominees as proposed by President William Ruto. Justice Ndomanderi ruled that a petition challenging the process was prematurely filed, adding that Parliament ought to be allowed to complete the process before any party can file a petition. On November 15, 2022, the High Court temporarily stopped the vetting of the nominees that was to conclude on November 18, 2022, following a suit by the Law Society of Kenya. LSK had argued that the president had not factored in gender equity and regional balance in the nominations. Through their lawyers, LSK said the 2/3 gender rule, persons with disabilities and the youth had been left out.
One of the most important interactive piece, Homo Insects, created by Priscilla Laurent. So you can see the digital...
President William Ruto has assured candidates of their security during the national examination period. The president argued the multi-agency team supervising the exercise to ensure the examinations are administered in a secure environment that will ensure no distractions for candidates. Speaking at Joseph Kangethe Primary School in Kibra constituency, Nairobi, where he supervised opening of material for the ongoing KBC and KCPE examinations. The head of state at the same time encouraged the candidates to exercise calmness as they write the exams.
My project, eye calligraphy, is a project between art and science. Eye tracking is a technique, a way to record our eye movements, and robotics allows...
Kila mwanafunzi apatiwe nafasi ya kufanya mtihani katika mazingira tulivu na mazingira yenye iko na amani. Na ndio sababu tumemobilize askari wengi kuhakikisha kwamba mambo ya mitihani inaendelea vizuri katika centers zetu zote. With the training and the agreement that has been done between the multi-agency team and all those who will be administering these exams to make sure that there are no incidences, that there is no disruption, that there is no distraction, and all our students have an opportunity to have their examination in a tranquil environment.
Background and your history, Your Excellency, the way you started it was in an ordinary school like this one, and with God and the kind of discipline you have been able to make it all the way. So they look at you as great inspiration, and in a few years to come, these are the people that are going to serve our country in various other capacities, Your Excellency.
Are changing the perspectives of all the artists.
Well, that report on the ongoing exams brings us to our first break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we still have more news coming up. Let's take that break.
Better understand our made with those technologies has to offer the visitor in the museum the ability.
Kupata mtumaini Mungu kama sikiza tune yako, bonyeza *811 *815#.
Mtumaini Mwenyezi Mungu kwa moyo wako wote, wala usitegemea akili zako mwenyewe. Umtambue Mungu katika kila ufanyalo, naye atazinyosha njia zako. Usijione wewe mwenyewe kuwa mwenye hekima. Mche Mwenyezi Mungu na kujiepusha na uovu. Methali 3:5-7. Kumbe uovu huwajia wasiojiepusha na huo uovu. Tazama, unahitaji kufanya moja tu bila gharama.
Kupata mtumaini Mungu, bonyeza *811 *815#.
Make transactions anywhere in the world with the NCBA Visa card and stand a chance to win big. Join the FIFA World Cup 2022 when you win an all-expenses-paid trip for you and your +1 to watch 2 games. Or win exciting weekly prizes that will make your FIFA viewing experience super duper. All it takes is a swipe or a tap to pay 2,000 Kenya shillings or more with your NCBA Visa debit or credit card. The more you swipe or tap to pay, the higher your chances of winning with 1 point for every 2,000 Kenya shillings spent. Don't miss out. NCBA. Go for it.
Airtel, the most affordable network. Tulisema tutatimiza. Michuano ya World Cup imeshika kasi na Wakenya wanaendelea kutazama michuano hii kupitia stesheni waipendayo ya KBC Channel 1. Na sasa, kwa ushirikiano na Sports Pesa, tunakuletea michuano ya World Cup mtaani mwako kupitia big screen viewing bila malipo. Tarehe 30 Novemba, msafara wetu utang'oa nanga Naivasha na kumalizia mjini Nakuru, uwanja mkabala na America Hotel, ambapo taonesha live michuano kati ya Tunisia na Ufaransa. Ijumaa tarehe 2 Disemba, jitokeze Eldoret kwa uwanja karibu na Zion ujione miamba wa Afrika Ghana wakikabiliana na Uruguay, na baadaye Cameroon wakimenyana na Brazil kwenye dimba hili. World Cup iko KBC. Kataa kulustua. Imeletwa kwako kwa hisani ya Sports Pesa.
to the living room stadium. It's the FIFA World Cup. The match is about to start. Food and drink ready. There's no space left for anyone. Come on, get your lucky chair. Take your usual spot. Even the puppy has one. It's preparation time. You can feel the tension in the air. And do you have everything you need to believe?
In a desperate attempt to win up against Croatia in Belgium.
Now it's with Jordi Alba. Through the legs, Tino Kara, there's the opening goal. Brilliantly dispatched by Alvaro Morata.
Well, it's all about Spain creating an overload out wide. The switch of play is always on. Olmo coming in field just leaves the space for Alba to run into.
Game yao iko chini lakini discount ziko juu. Score the deals of the season na Team Naivas kikombe kikwetu. Kila Mkenya ni mshindi.
Critics have been reminding us.
Welcome back. Now let's proceed. A section of Orange Democratic Movement leaders in Kisii County are crying foul over what they term as unfair treatment in the ongoing public service appointments. Addressing the media at Keumbu, James Kenani, who unsuccessfully contested in the just concluded general elections, blamed the current predicament on the infighting.
Introducing a magic dancer, a drop of water. There's no force around to control the water, which is...
Independence has always been with the government. We have always worked with the government of the day. We have appreciated the much that the government could do for us. And we have a history, a very long history of being in government and having people who are luminaries, who are stars, and who generally fought for the Kisii community as well as the rest of the Kenyans. For example, the late Anyona, who was a member of parliament.
The president has been trying to come to Kisii and is unable to come because of the infighting. It is a shame that the leaders that we have picked are infighting and making a joke or making us look like we are not serious as the Kisii people. Kisii people are very serious people, and we also want goodies from the national government. And the only way we can get goodies is by ensuring that our leaders who we have chosen have what we call they speak in one voice.
Now let's talk business. Donkey population has dwindled as illegal trade of donkey skin increases. Up to 40% of donkey skin exported to Middle East countries originates from Kenya. A survey by World Organization for Animal Health shows that despite the closure of donkey abattoirs in 2020, Kenya exports up to 160,000 pieces of donkey skin annually.
The droplets may experience two or more different effects simultaneously, including deflection, gyrations, or rolling when the pattern is asymmetric. When the surface pattern meets both symmetries, forces from different directions will counteract each other, and the water drop will bounce linearly upward. Scientists also show how the energy produced from a dancing droplet can be utilized. They set up a magnetically suspended...
In the illegal trade.
Between the years 2013 and 2019,
many countries in Africa set up this completely new trade on slaughtering the donkeys basically for their hide. And the people who are leaving their donkeys loose on the road and things like that, those owners actually are able to self-regulate one another. How does my neighbor keep their donkey? So they're able to look at one another in that way. And so we are hoping that could be a way that now can help us to really reduce even the illegal, the emergence of the illegal trade that may be coming up in some of the areas.
The World Organization for Animal Health called on all donkey farmers and donkey protection authorities to ensure best practices on animal welfare that are science-based.
We should be able to encourage the countries to apply for an assessment of their veterinary veterinary services through what we call a performance of veterinary services tool. It's through that tool application that a country will be able to know at where they are. You can apply a standard, you can apply that assessment with a focus on how are we doing on animal welfare.
The Pan-Africa Donkey Conference 2022 is set to be held in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania between 1st to 2nd December, where discussions on donkey welfare and sustainability are expected to take center stage.
Is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
And about 50,000 farmers in Embu and Kirinyaga counties will be trained on conservation, agriculture and crop diversification to boost production and earnings. The training will mainly target tea and coffee farmers, focusing on maximizing production while conserving water and soil fertility and water through minimum tillage.
Training by the Rainforest Alliance, farmers will be upskilled on which types of trees to plant on their farms to conserve water and provide watershed. The training will also focus on diversification by highlighting new high-value crops.
Wakiendelea kuuza mazao yao ya kahawa na majani chai, pia wapate fedha kutoka kwa hizi miti za macadamia na avocados. Kwa hivyo tunapeleka hizi mpango ya kupanda miti, mpango ya kuwasomesha na pia kuwapatia njia za kupata fedha.
He says County Landscape Management Board will be established in both Embu and Kirinyaga counties to spearhead resource mobilization towards the financing of the green enterprises that are supporting youth and women development in the area. Terry Njenga, Lunchtime News.
The island boasts black volcanic and white coral.
A cross-section of savings and credit organizations have thrown their weight behind government's Hustler Fund initiative ahead of the official launch by the government. The organizations which have welcomed the fund believe it is a relief for Kenyans with low credit scores, saying it will also help in taming the inflation rate which has hampered loan repayment.
Is protected as a World Heritage Site and is known as a high
Hustler Fund is meant to also support the customers, the 4 million Kenyans who have been listed in CRB as non-payers of their loans and defaulters. How it's going to help them is that it's going to give them a break of around 6 months. They will have some funds to help them either repay their loans and do some business so that their account statements, their accounts or their financial performance can be relieved for around 6 months. And therefore, it's a very welcome move on our part, and we appreciate the efforts the government is trying to do to help resolve issues to do with CRB and the fund, Hustler Fund issue.
Players in the hospitality industry at the coast are banking on new products to attract and retain more customers. This has seen various brands embark on an expansion drive to capitalize on the high season, which has seen thousands of local and international visitors flock to the holiday coastal resort towns. Pride Inn has just completed a multi-billion expansion and renewal plan that has seen the establishment of an aqua park, snorkeling and skydiving centers in Diani. Pride Inn Hotels, Resort and Camps Managing Director Hasnain Norani says the brand has also upgraded its accommodation and conferencing facilities to increase the number of rooms at the facility. The revamped hotel now has 4 conference facilities that can host up to 500 people and accommodate up to 80 guests per night.
For those who work in the hotel industry, the hospitality sector, tourism is not about a white man. Tourism is not about a foreigner. Take advantage of the 47, 48 governments of this country. That is tourism of its kind.
Aqua Park in Diani County, and therefore increasing the tourism experiences for our little guests. We also have a baby pool and an adult pool and a multi-cuisine restaurant. All this combination is what brings in the flavor of Pride in Diani and therefore adding to the tourism experiences.
In other news, the world billionaire and Twitter CEO Elon Musk said Apple has halted most of its advertising on Twitter and accused the company of threatening to remove the platform from its App Store. The feud comes as many companies have halted spending on Twitter amid concerns about Musk's content moderation plans for the site. Here are the details for this and other stories making headlines across the globe.
Series of tweets, Musk accused Apple of censorship and criticized its policies, including the charge it levies on purchases made on its App Store. Musk has said Twitter has seen a massive drop in revenue, blaming activists for pressuring advertisers. Apple was the top advertiser on Twitter, spending $48 million on ads on the social network in the first quarter of 2022. Musk, who purchased Twitter for $44 billion last month, is under pressure as some companies halt spending. Companies including Cheerios maker General Mills and Volkswagen are among the firms that have halted their spending in recent weeks. Meanwhile, inflation in the Eurozone has not peaked and risks rising even higher than predicted. The president of European Central Bank ECB has warned. Christine Lagard's comment hinted at possible interest rate hikes in the future, fueling speculation that the bank will not take the gentler path to curb inflation. Inflation in the 19 countries that use the euro hit a record 10.6% on a yearly basis last month. The war in Ukraine has driven inflation by causing the cost of energy to spike. Energy price increases are a key source of inflation as they feed into the wider economy, affecting the cost of almost everything. Finally, Asian shares rallied on Tuesday as Beijing's latest move to support developers boosted the property sector, and rumors swirled the recent public unrest might prompt an earlier loosening in COVID-19 restriction. Shares of Chinese property companies certainly surged after the country's security regulator lifted a ban on equity refinancing for listed property firms.
The Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry partnership with the Kenya Development Corporation have rolled out a financing scheme targeting small businesses who will access up to $500 million in loans. Under the partnership, information on investment opportunities will be availed to potential investors.
We want to see how do we partner with them, particularly in manufacturing. We have heard many times the CS Trade, Moses Kuria, talking about how he's going to expand special economic zones, how he's going to expand industrial parks in Nairobi and across the country. It is for us to pitch tents in those industrial parks. And we can only do that with a partner like KBC, who will be able to give us resources so that we can be able to get into that space and manufacture our products. And we as KNCCI, we are going to link you with opportunities, not only here in Kenya, in the region, but also at the African Continental Free Trade Area.
And on that note, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back after the break.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere. Tulisema tutatimiza. Michuano ya World Cup imeshika kasi na Wakenya wanaendelea kutazama michuano hii kupitia stesheni waipendayo ya KBC Channel 1. Na sasa, kwa ushirikiano na Sports Pesa, tunakuletea michuano ya World Cup mtaani mwako kupitia big screen viewing bila malipo. Tarehe 30 Novemba, msafara wetu utang'oa nanga Naivasha na kumalizia mjini Nakuru, uwanja mkabala na Merika Hotel, ambapo taonesha live michuano kati ya Tunisia na Ufaransa. Ijumaa tarehe 2 Disemba, jitokeze Eldoret kwa uwanja karibu na Zion ujione miamba wa Afrika Ghana wakikabiliana na Uruguay na baadaye Cameroon wakimenyana na Brazil kwenye dimba hili. World Cup iko KBC. Kataa kulustua. Imeletwa kwako kwa hisani ya Sports Pesa.
Abantu ba Mintombi ya More. Your favorite Ekegusi station, Minto FM, is now at your doorstep. Enjoy the hottest Kisii music, informative and entertaining shows, and reliable news only on Minto FM. Tune in to Minto FM on 91.7 FM in Nyamira, Kisii and its environs. Minto FM,
Welcome back. Now let's talk business. Burkina Faso's diminishing gold mines have recorded a 13% low compared to 2021, putting the livelihoods of hundreds of miners at risk as the West African country loses territory to Islamist militant and lurches from a coup to coup. Dependency on mining is at stake. Here are the details of these and other stories making headlines across the globe.
This year because of security risks. Gold is Burkina Faso's main export, accounting for 37% of total export, and mining is a leading source of jobs. A gold mining boom in Burkina Faso over the last decade propelled traders to close their business and move into mining-related ventures. The tons mined dropped to 43.651 tons of gold, down from 50.126 tons over the same period last year. Elsewhere, Zimbabwe's prolonged power shortage is set to worsen after the entity that manages South Africa's biggest dam ordered suspension of electricity generation until January 2023 at its main hydro plant because of a water shortage. The Zambezi River Authority says the South Hydropower Station had used more than its 2022 water allocation and that the Kariba Dam's usable storage was only 4.6% full. Zimbabwe has suffered acute power shortages for several years as successive droughts have resulted in poor inflows in the Kariba Dam, and the aging coal-fired power stations have repeatedly broken down.
Micro, small and medium-sized enterprises are banking on technology to increase access to credit, improve efficiency and reduce operational losses. So far, over 20,000 micro, small and medium-sized enterprises have secured funding to automate their businesses in a move expected to enhance financial and inventory management for small businesses.
National report on SME funding indicates that 60% of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises face challenges accessing capital, majorly owing to a lack of collateral.
Entrepreneurs are the backbone of an economy. They make things happen. They dare to seize opportunities, take risks, and create employment at the local level, sometimes under very difficult circumstances.
To circumvent this, some of them are automating their operations to make their businesses more efficient and make it easier to access credit.
They have a plan, a clear plan, and all we need is really to handhold and make sure we execute the plan properly.
Noting that over 20,000 MSMEs have so far accessed 650 million shillings, courtesy of various digital solutions, the TechnoServe Regional Program Manager urged micro-retailers to customize their products for MSMEs to bridge the funding gap.
We want no shop left behind in this digital transformation era.
In the last 8 years, TechnoServe's Smart Duka program has benefited 55,435 micro-retailers, out of which 23,369 of them have secured loans to capitalize or fund their operations.
We have three-pillared approach that we have developed that is yielding great results. One of the pillars is to build the capacity of the business, of the shop owners.
Fish farming in Kenya is headed for a major turnaround once the 2.5 billion shilling Kabonyo fish project in Kisii County is completed. The project, which was approved by the cabinet earlier this month, is set to increase the distribution of fingerlings by 7 million annually. The project will also facilitate training, research, innovation and best practices in fisheries and aquaculture through demonstrations and incubation.
The dwindling fish stock due to overfishing and pollution is becoming a major concern as Lake Victoria stares at a future without Nile perch and common carp. To boost fish stock in the lake, the government plans to construct a 2.5 billion shillings modern aquaculture fisheries project in Kisii County. Mining and Blue Economy Cabinet Secretary Salim Mvurya says the centre modelled on the Sagana Aquaculture Centre concept will give impetus to the blue economy and create job opportunities for the youth.
The government of Kenya, led by His Excellency William Ruto, and the government of Hungary are working together to make sure that the Kabonyo Kanyagwal project is implemented to fruition, and that all the objectives of the project are realized here in Kabonyo.
Once completed, the centre will offer another source of production of raw materials for animal feeds and fertilizer to reduce the burden on Lake Victoria. The Kabonyo Fisheries Centre of Excellence will involve the development of a Nile perch and development centre, an aquaculture resource centre, and the Kenya Fishing School. The centre will see 7 million fingerlings produced annually and distributed to farmers across the country. Mvurya says funds will be dispersed in 2 phases of 1 billion shillings and 1.5 billion shillings respectively.
Apart from being a centre of excellence, it is a project which will also supply other aquaculture interventions in the country. And annually we expect to have here 7 million fingerlings to be produced here in this project.
The government is now finalizing a draft policy paper on the blue economy that will ensure effective management of the ocean and lake resources in an equitable and sustainable manner. Ndusamo Kami for Lunchtime News.
And now in the sports arena, Wales will take on familiar rivals England at the Ahmed bin Ali Stadium in the third Group B match in the ongoing FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Meanwhile, Bruno Fernandes scored a brace to send Portugal through to the knockout stages from Group H with a game to spare after beating Uruguay 2-0.
With France and Brazil, but still need a point to be declared Group H winners. Elsewhere, Casemiro fired Brazil into the last 16 of the World Cup with a late strike in their 1-0 win over Switzerland. Brazil now join France in the last 16 with a 1-0 win over Switzerland at the Stadium 974 in Doha. In today's matches, Ecuador will be looking to seal qualification for the knockout stages when they take on Senegal in what will likely to be a winner-takes-it-all clash at the Khalifa International Stadium. Netherlands will enter Group A contest with tournament host Qatar, knowing that a win or a draw would see them qualify for the last 16 stage. Iran face an impressive USA side at the Al Thumama Stadium with 3 points enough to take either team through to the knockout stages. 3 Lions will progress to the last 16 as group winners will owe 3 points, while Wales, who lost 2-0 to Iran on Friday, must triumph and hope that the other results go their way to stand a chance of making it through.
Well, on that note, we come to a close here on Lunchtime News. Thank you for choosing Lunchtime News. For more news, check out our website at kbc.co.ke. Our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. My name is Jackie Wambiru. Enjoy the rest of the day.